Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back. We are finally back home, ready to make some more videos here for the YouTube channel. Down in Australia was kind of tough to make videos. We're traveling around, racing and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you understand that. But today we will officially kick off our Chili Bowl coverage here on the channel. For the next 2 weeks, it's going to be pretty much Chili Bowl all the time here on the Rodman Rundown. If anything comes out when it comes to sprint cars, we will be covering that news as well. But each and every day, I do plan on having a video out, something about the Chili Bowl, whether that's looking at prelim nights, talking about the pool that's coming out, or different things like that, race recaps for each of the prelim nights. I'm going to be doing all of that here on the channel, so make sure to hit subscribe to stay informed. And so today, the first thing we're going to be doing is probably one of the things that a lot of people get confused about with this event, and we're going to be looking at the format. Talking about what has to happen for each driver to make the prelim feature, what they have to do to make the main event on Saturday, what they have to do to start in the C main or the D main, or all that crazy stuff that goes on. There are a lot of moving parts with this format, and so I figured that maybe putting it on a whiteboard will help some of the people that maybe only watch the Chili Bowl. That's their only dirt race of the year. Maybe they watch it every year, but they still are confused about what goes on. You can zoom in on this board on your phone. You could screenshot it, and you could keep it there for you when you need to look at it when it comes to next week's action. Before I get into it, take a look outside. It is a beautiful day here in Ohio. It is 11 degrees, and there is snow on the ground, a far cry from the 92 that we left in Australia just a few days ago. Now, let's get into this format video. So the heat races will be the first thing that we see each and every night. There will be no qualifying. They'll get a couple of hot laps, but that is it. No qualifying. You're not trying to set a fast lap time. And the heat races are lined up by a pill draw, which is a random draw for each of the drivers that signs in for that particular race. And so, a guy could be the best driver in the whole world, but he's going to start 8th, or he could start 5th, or he could start 3rd, or it doesn't really matter. It is a random draw for your starting position. And sometimes it can be a little bit of trouble because sometimes you'll see a heat race where it's like 6 really good guys somehow all just drew together. It is all random. And then you'll get one heat race where it is like 8 idiots like me out there trying to get around the racetrack. They're bouncing off each other and crashing. And some of them somehow are able to make the feature on the prelim night. It just happens, man. That is the Chili Bowl. And that is where you can kind of make some money when it comes to that pool, which we'll talk about more throughout the week. The heat races will be 8 or 9 of them. It depends on the car count. Usually Monday, Tuesday, you're going to have 8 heat races. When it comes to Friday and Thursday, guys are switching nights. They're kind of moving it down the line. There could be up to 9 heat races. Each heat race will be 8 laps in distance, and there will be either 8 or 9 cars in the heat race. It just depends on how many cars sign in for that particular prelim night. And there will be passing points. This is the part that confuses a lot of people. And I have a little bit of an example of how the passing points work. There is a format on the Chili Bowl website that goes through each and every scenario. If you go from 8th to 7th, or if you go 6th to 3rd, or you go 3rd to 7th, or whatever, it shows you how those points are broken down. But for the sake of this video, here are a couple of examples. If you start on the pole of the heat race and you win, you get 100 points. If you go from if you go from 8th to 1st, that is a high point deal. It's 135. That is max points usually in a heat race. If you go 1st to 8th, it is 40.5 points. And if you go from 8th to 8th, it is 51 points. So those are a couple of examples of how the points work in the heat races. It's the same thing in the qualifier as well. After the heat races, they will tabulate all the points. The top 40 drivers in overall points will then go to a qualifier. Meanwhile, 41st on back-end points will go to a C main, and depending on car count, there could be a D main as well on the prelim nights. Then we move on to the qualifiers. And sometimes these are the best races of the night. It is cutthroat. The guys know they have to get going, and they have to do it very, very quickly. So top 40 in points, go to these qualifiers. There will be 4 of those, 10 laps in distance, and there will be 10 cars in each of the qualifiers as well. This is something that is also confusing to people as well, and that is the 6-car invert in each of the qualifiers. So out of those 40 guys that make the qualifiers, the top 24 will be inverted for each of them, meaning that, let's just say the high point guy, he went 8th to 1st in his heat race. He is going to start 6th in the qualifier, and then he will try to pass a couple more cars to get himself even more points to start up front in the main event later on. That is something to help those guys as far as, getting more passing points, because if, let's say, a guy goes 8th to 1st and he starts on the pole of qualifier, he is not going to get an opportunity to get more points. He is going to have an opportunity to lose points. And so they give those guys a little bit more. Obviously, they have to work for the passing points. But if they do that, it makes it exciting for the fans. And those drivers really earn it to get up front in the main event. The top 16 drivers at the end of the heat races and the qualifiers, they'll add up the points from both, and those top 16 guys will then line up straight up in the main event later on that night. Now, 17th through 40th, I'm jumping ahead of myself. 41st on back after the heat races and points, those drivers will go to either a C main or a D main. I've got the C main on the board because I don't have enough room on my whiteboard. There will be 2 C mains each and every night. They will be 12 laps in distance. There will be 4 transfers out of each of those. And the transfers, let's just say, there's 2 C mains and there's 2 B mains. So the first C main, those top 4 guys will then go to the first B main. The transfers from the second C main will go to the second B main, and that's going to be how it works each and every night. There could be up to 12 cars in each of the C mains. Depending on car count, there could be 10, there could be 8. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. If you do not transfer from a C main, obviously that is not good. And that is not good for your week as well as your your reputation, or if you're a good driver and you don't transfer to the C main, then that's not good. If you're a bad driver and you don't transfer to the C main, were you expecting to? I feel like there's just a lot of guys that show up to the Chili Bowl just to say that they raced it and they don't really care what happens. But if you're one of those guys and you don't transfer out of the C main, then you are going to be going to either a K through N main. Fill in the alphabet there: K, A, B, C, D, K, L, M, N, L, M, N. So K, L, M, N main. I had to do the alphabet there to get that. I'm stupid, but that is not a good thing right there. And then when we go to the B mains, these are the drivers that were not top 16 after the qualifiers and the heat races, 17th through 40th in the points. There will be 2 B mains like there was 2 C mains, 15 laps instead of 12. The top 4 will then transfer on to the feature, and there will be 16 cars in each B main. The drivers that do not transfer out of the B main, they will either go to an E or a J main, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So a lot of room there to go from either an E or a J main, which is definitely a huge difference. So keep an eye on that as well. If one of your favorite drivers doesn't transfer to the B main, he's going to have a lot of work to do on Saturday. And then when it comes to the feature on the prelim nights, the top 16, as we mentioned, after heat races and qualifier points, they'll be lined up straight up off of the points. So high point guy will start first, 16th in points will start 16th. And then behind them, it'll be the B main event transfer cars. 25 laps is the distance, 24 cars is the total. The top 2 is where you want to be at. If you finish in the top 2, you are automatically in the Chili Bowl main event on Saturday night and have a great chance to get one of those golden drillers. If you do not finish in the top 2, you will either start, if you finish in 3rd through 8th place, you will then be in the Saturday B main. If you finish 9th through 14th, you go to a Saturday C main. If you finish 15th through 20th, it is a Saturday D main. And if you are 21st through 24th, you go to the Saturday E main. So even if you make the feature on a prelim night, and let's just say you blow a motor, you are going to have a lot of work ahead of you as well. You have to get through the E main, the D main, the C main, and the B main. We've seen it done before, but it's been quite a while since somebody made a run like that. You can start in the C main and the D main maybe and make it to the feature. It is very rare. But from behind that, it's basically you're writing it off. You're trying to just put the best run you can together. But getting the feature out of the E main is something that is very, very rare. We'll see if it happens this year, but I would not be counting on it at all. So that is the format for all of the prelim nights: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is the format that you will be seeing at the Chili Bowl Nationals. And then Saturday, it is a lot more just kind of basic, right? Top 2 transfer, top 4 transfer, top 6 transfer. I think in the B mains, it's top 7 transfer. So the format for Saturday is much, much simpler to understand than the prelim nights, and I figured it deserved its own video here on the channel. So for the next 2 weeks, all you're going to be seeing here on this channel is more than likely stuff about the Chili Bowl. Like I said, unless some sprint car news comes out, we will talk about that as well. We're going to be having, recaps of each prelim night here on the channel. We're going to be having looking in depth at each prelim night for the rest of this week, for each Monday night, the Tuesday night prelim, the Wednesday night, who are the guys that are going to be, fast, who's going to be close, who's not going to be close, all that good stuff. We'll be talking about it here on the Rodman Rundown. So glad we are back here in the studio. Glad we are back to making videos for all of you guys. I did miss it. I really did. It felt like my channel was going to explode and never be seen again because I wasn't making videos, but I'm glad to be back here and doing it once again. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to take a screenshot of this. Make sure to hit subscribe as well if you want to see all the Chili Bowl content that we've got coming out over the next 2 weeks. And make sure to hit comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the format. What do you like about it? What do you hate about it? For me, one thing I hate is top 2 locking in and not top 3 like it used to be. That is something that grinds my gears. That is for sure. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys again here very soon.